Hello and welcome to another live stream. Thank you everyone for joining. Today I am very excited to explore the world of Derwent Inktense. Now, this isn't the first time I've used Derwent Inktense, and I actually got my set of pencils, actually really like probably 5 or more years ago now. But I've used them an embarrassingly small amount given how much I love them. And that's just because, to be honest, outside of what you see on this channel, I often don't have time to just sit and play, and I'm planning on trying to sort of change that and spend more time just enjoying my art supplies a bit more. And as a part of that, actually Derwent Inktense is very high on my list, and I've been talking about them recently, how I want to try them again. So it works out perfect timing that recently when I was at NAMTA, I met everyone at the Derwent booth and also spoke to Lana Gloschhat, who I mentioned in the last live stream as well, who's actually an amazing artist who works with Derwent, and she was showing off the Derwent Inktense blocks. And you stole them. And she arranged very nicely. I think with Renee from our team, I didn't know about it, and she came and basically gave me the demo set that she was using, which is the set of 72. And so not only is this a good chance for me to really play with them and see how different they are, but I have the 72 set of the pencils. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm assuming the colors will be exactly the same, but I want to know for sure. Even just this morning in sorting them out, because the blocks were perfectly sorted even though they've just been used. So good job, Lana, for keeping them all really organized. My pencils were a little bit more out of order and some are missing. So I don't know where they've gone. I'll have to track them down. I do have a small collection of to be sorted pencils downstairs from different things, so they're probably among them. But as I've reordered them, it's been interesting already noticing like the color matching, that the tips of these aren't necessarily well matched to the actual colors, which is something that we all know is quite frustrating. But yeah, you can see instantly there, these first three are these three. These are the true colors because this is just a stick of pigment basically. Whereas these are the colors that they've put on the ends. And I think especially these two, if I'm gonna like gut instinct grab them, I really would have liked them to match those a little bit better. But this is a thing that we see with a lot of brands. So it'll be interesting to swatch the rest of them out fully. And I mean,
what happens if you turn like the actual pencil lead at the other end? Is that the same?
Yeah, I mean, that then is, so example here. So this side is less accurate, but if you can see this is the better one to pick from. It's just that the whole point in the brands offering this on the back is so that you don't rely on the little bit of lead you got to see the color. So definitely that's more accurate, and that is actually a perfect match for this, which it should be, because I believe they're the same literal product in a different form. But that's always something interesting to kind of see and work out, and I don't know, just have a play. I have some specific plans for what I want to use these for, and in a second Shane will catch up on all the hellos in the comments of everyone jumping in. But I wanted to not just compare them, but I actually wanted to have a go at a few projects that I personally have been putting off and looking for an excuse, and this is again kind of a nice excuse to do them with you. So actually, Shane just pointed out that I have here this wonderful Akubra that Aussie crafter made for me. And on the side here, we have, this is an iconic Australian hat, right? That doesn't sit well. Yes, it does sit well on my head. Here on the side, we actually have some beautiful artwork that Di has made from Aussie crafter. Have you got a side camera for me, Shane, that I can hook up for you? Not really? That's fine. I'll just hold it like this so everyone can see. I believe, oh, here we go. There we go, nice close up. Not the best lighting from this angle, but you see the beautiful art. This is so detailed, and I'll be honest, I haven't braved this outside. I don't want to ruin it, but this, I believe, and Aussie Crafter, if she's here, will correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this was done with Derwent Inktense. If I'm wrong, that's embarrassing, but I believe this was done with Derwent Inktense, and the way that it almost looks like it's like painted on. So very cool. So I want to try Derwent Inktense on some fabric as well. So I have 2 projects I want to try and just rush through today. The first one is this tote bag that I was sent, honestly, more than a year ago by Life of Colour, that are an Australian company. They make different paint markers and stuff as well. And they have this bag, and they sent me this bag with some paint markers with the intention that I would color it in with the paint markers, and I never quite got to it. And I really want to color it with the Derwent Inktense because the Derwent Inktense, as much as they're like watercolor, they actually become permanent. So if you were to color this with normal watercolor, as soon as it goes outside, it's gonna run. It'll become a whole different kind of watercolor project. The Inktense apparently dry permanent, and so...
Be like a tie-dye.
A tie-dye, kind of, but even tie-dye is permanent. Like, it's not gonna keep re-dyeing once it's out in the rain. So I'm pretty keen to see how easy it is to draw on that with the pencils or the blocks and whatever. And the other one that's more of a personal project. I have not done cross stitch for a good 20 years, but my mum used to do so many gorgeous giant cross stitches. And so she had a massive collection. And so when she passed, I was looking through her collection and I wanted to just keep one that I could do one day. And I've been hanging on to this for like 5-6 years at this point. And I finally think I'm ready to have a go at this. But I was looking at this, sorry, I just have to point out how funny it is, all the markdowns this thing has had, because of course my mum was an amazing discount hunter. So you know that she did not pay full price for this. This $15 markdown from who, I can't even get that sticker off, it's so old. Layers and layers of discounts going on. But this is actually very me. Like these are some of my favorite flowers, the fuchsias. I remember seeing them in real life and being like, oh wow, they look so whimsical and they look so like, not real, that I love them. They're like little fairies. But I wanted to find a way to make this my own a little bit, because cross stitch is very good for like copying the pattern. And I mean, this is a traditional counted cross stitch, so it's not like it's going to be easy, but I wanted to do something new to make it feel a bit more arty for me. So I thought, how cool would it be to do like an underpainting on this? Now I've never seen anyone do this. I don't know if this is a thing people do, where I want to use the Derwent Inktense, and I'm not going to know exactly where everything's going to end up because, again, this is what we're working from. But I want to roughly estimate and just create some like puddles of the similar colors in the background, so that then when I come and do the cross stitch, I'm doing the cross stitch on top of this sort of painterly like watercolor effect. And I don't know, I just think that could be fun. Why not? So I'm not doing the cross stitch today. That's going to be a personal project for me, probably in front of the couch, watching who knows what, over like a few weeks. And when I'm done, I'll post a picture on Instagram, maybe even here on YouTube. I'll show our members in the Discord as I progress with it. But I wanted to see how that underpainting concept works. And I figured, I mean, it's essentially fabric. So surely the Derwent Inktense would work for that as well. I keep looking over here because Shane is over here. So welcome Shane today.
Hello.
And while Shane's here and on, he's also checking all of the comments for everyone who's jumping in. So do you want to just give out a few of our members a shout out that have joined us today, and I'll give you a quick insight in a second to what we're going to be doing with the members after this live stream, and then we'll jump in.
Yes, we have a few members here. Terry, V Porter, we have Mango Beck, we have Carol, we have Jordan, and I think that's our members at the moment.
Awesome.
Everyone's sort of saying where they're from. Houston, Texas, Perth, we've got Queensland, lots of different people. So
I know a lot of people are not catching us live, especially like if you're in Europe. Time zones at the moment with daylight savings are not great. So even if you are watching the replay of this video, I recommend going and seeing if you can click on the live chat. I don't know if it's still accessible later, if we've like cut the start off the video. That's technical YouTube stuff. But if you have the chance, jump in the live chat. I know you won't be able to kind of interact with everyone, but it is really fun to sort of see the other half of the conversation that happens while we are here. And if you ever want to join us, we do try and do a live stream every 2 weeks, usually on a Wednesday, 10 a.m. my time, which like for most of the rest of the world is actually Tuesday night at different times. So we do have an email newsletter where when we're doing a live stream, we let everyone know. So if you want to join the email newsletter, you can basically, oh, look at that. There's like a fancy, look at this thing. Yeah, do that. That's the website, or you can also go to my website and click join. And then jumping on the email list means that we will be able to send you updates for all the new things, and you get a free coloring book when you first join. And we also let you know when the live streams are happening. So you have a few days notice, because every now and then we do have to move them or cancel them. I might use that opportunity really quickly to just give everyone a super quick update, because I'm sure it'll come up in the comments eventually anyway. We do have some sad news personally, where our beloved cat Moscow, that many of you know from videos, actually died last week. So I'm probably not going to talk about that more than that, because that's a bad idea if we're wanting to stay happy and enjoying the art. But I do want to let you know there is an Instagram post with a little bit more details if you do want to sort of speak on that or have any thoughts on that. But we're going to keep it at that. But I do appreciate everyone who has sent their best wishes and hugs and all those things. It's been really nice to feel supported with this. So, but on that note, let's jump in and play with the Derwent Inktense. So I do want to kind of just, I mean, there's a few things I want to do. I want to kind of compare the colors. So I've got the swatch decks here. I also do have a few different types of watercolor paper because that's where it's going to really shine. But I just want to, at a first glance, just show you how different these two forms are just on this. So I might just grab, I know that I should probably I will eventually swatch them all out. I actually thought I already had swatched my Inktense pencils, but apparently not. So I'm just going to grab 3 colors here and we'll try and match the same colors here. The only thing about the blocks is that because it's a solid pigment stick, the color's kind of in this. If this gets too wet, like a few of them, the color actually, the number's gone. So I'm going to try my best to use them from one end rather than both ends to hopefully keep the numbers on there as long as possible. The good thing is with these, even without the numbers, it's pretty easy to see which colors are which as a stick because it is just a pigment stick. So they're really cool. And then 700. So I think that's this one. So these are my 3 colors. Now the biggest thing here, I have always been a big fan. I might just move these wonderful trays over, give myself a little bit more space. So the wonderful thing about the pencils is obviously being pencils, they're really easy to use. So they're quite, I know a lot of people actually just use these as colored pencils, but I do think you're really missing out without adding water, and I'll show you why. I should have, you know what I should have done is done this on the, that's all right. We'll just do them underneath. We've got 6 spots, so I'll show you 3 and the 3. So these just work like colored pencils, but if you're only using them as colored pencils, you might as well buy a different brand of colored pencil. Now, instantly, the blocks are way crumblier. It is quite different. So if you're looking for something that's not messy, I would say the pencils is probably already a better option. But I do think that the pigment sticks have a lot more opportunities with them.
Would people shave the pigment sticks off into a little sort of dish or something?
Yes. So let me just grab, well, I've got this paper here. Let me just show you. So even here, if we just tip that excess on here, and we'll come back to that in a second, because that is still useful and there's probably actually a lot of color there. So you can do what I've done and just use them as sticks, but the other thing you can do is get a little knife and just scrape a bit of this off, or rub it on a plastic palette or something and basically use it as a paint and use it with a brush from there. You don't have to use, if you're going to do them like this, you're probably better off using the pencils. There are other ways you can do this and actually even make a little, you could turn these into watercolor palettes in those little mini travel watercolor kits. That's actually something I should do for myself. That would be actually a good idea, because then I can pick my perfect palette of 5 or 6 and get one of those mini, oh, actually Shane, you should have a look over there. There is a mini Etcher watercolor palette that they sent me. I've recently got a bunch of stuff from Etcher as well, and I've been meaning to sort of try and play with it all.
This mini palette?
I mean, that is a mini palette. 19. This is actually huge for a mini palette. I wonder if it already has paint in it. I didn't actually find out. This, what's that one? That one's actual paints. Okay, so let me see if this one's got anything in it. I just realized my paper here is totally blocking the view of everything. Down, there we go, okay. So this is the Etcher Mini Palette Travel Set. Now I'm actually surprised at how small this is, given it says that it fits 19. Let's have a look, because this could be a really good option for something like this. Oh, it's actually quite heavy. Ooh, little chart for you. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, there's 2. Oh, okay. So I was thinking these were well, I mean, they are still portable because you've got the tray. But that's interesting. They're actually really nice ceramic. That's cool. Well, let's actually let's keep the little one. I'm going to try, not hypothetically, actually. So just with the color that I've got here, if I get a
It's not hypothetical if you're doing it.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm not doing is I'm not going to fill the whole palette thing. I'll probably do that another day with my own. Oh, where's my knife? I always get out all the things I think I need, and then I discover I need like 20 more things. Where am I going to do it? No, that's a bad idea. Oh, I thought this was a knife, but it's a pencil extender. That's not going to work either. I do have scissors. This feels like it could be really dangerous though. Let's just do it anyway. So if we just try and shave off a little bit of that really poorly into here. I feel like you'd almost be better off doing in this like a little tub or something and then transferring it, because like me, I'm like mixing all this up. So then, yeah, there's no way I'm getting water in this. What about I use my brush, and the first dip of my brush I will dip into that. I've got water here, not to be mixed up with my drinking water. And then I've got a few different brushes. Okay, so what if we try... I mean, if you came here and thought that I knew what I was doing ahead of time, you obviously haven't been on my channel. Okay, so now we can just turn that into like a paint. The only catch, I guess, here, and this is maybe something I have to ask Lana or ask Derwent. Now that I've wet this, it's not supposed to be able to be reactivated. So technically, this actually wouldn't work as a travel watercolor palette, I don't think, because the Inktense isn't supposed to reactivate. If anyone in the comments knows, is what I've done now a total waste of time and pigment? Oh, look how bright that's come out though. Like it might be something that you can only sort of do once, not something that you can do over and over, because let me just show you what I mean when I say this is permanent. We'll let that sit for a bit and then we'll try to reactivate it again afterwards and see. But while I'm here, let's see how far this other scraps of fragmented bits go. Look at how much color, I'll pull this down so you can see it better, out of just that, out of the bits that you might accidentally shake off into the bin. So much color just there. They were just the little loose bits. That's a lot of color. But I want to show you when you actually color in a big section how bright it gets, because that's quite faded out because we have used a lot of water. If we use a bit less water, let's show you how bright this gets. Look at that. Still a lot of color in it. So that's the pencils. Now I've in the past activated these with an alcohol marker as well, which is a really good way to create a watercolor look in like a coloring book without it sort of going through the page and warping the paper. The problem with that is also that it's not as bright when you use an alcohol marker to activate them. So that was the pencils, and now we're dealing with the sticks. Again, this is something that like, I haven't used these enough. I'd love to play with them a lot more and get to know them and work with them better. I feel like I'm still a total noob when it comes to using these. And you got to remember too, right now I'm working on what is a mixed media paper. So it handles the water, but it's not actually designed as a watercolor paper specifically. Whereas this over here is a watercolor paper, and so it'll absorb it quite differently. We'll play around with that a bit more shortly. I was going to use this page for swatching. That's probably not going to happen now. That is fun. So, I mean, at a glance, the colors are the same. These have let out a lot more pigment, which means when I've pulled them down, they're a little bit less even, but that might also just be my technique and might be the paper as well. But for the most part, like these are probably slightly brighter, but again, I think it's just it's more pigment on the paper. So if you just did more layers with this, it gets kind of the same intensity. But it's actually really cool to just see that those colors match. Like they're the same color, which they should be. but it's good to know. So let's put that aside.
I think that's maybe the difference between like the cheaper and better brands where you get more colour match between mediums.
Yeah.
Whereas like if it was one of those cheaper brands, it'd just be like, we gave it our best shot.
Well, yeah, a lot of the sort of brands that are more just mass manufacturing and doing stuff a lot cheaper, even between two versions of the same product, you'll end up with a lot more color difference and mismatches and whatever. When you're dealing with a brand like Derwent or like Faber-Castell, if they say our watercolor range matches our normal range, chances are that it's probably accurate. They would use the same. They spend a lot of time getting the pigments just right, and so when they actually do make other products, they do match. I think, yeah, overall, I actually love the colors in these, and at some point I will stop and swatch out the rest. We will get them loaded into our color companion as well. I do need to probably buy the bigger set from Derwent for that, because I think 72 isn't the maximum, is it, for Inktense? I think there's actually a bigger set. So we can at least get the 72 set swatched in. I don't know, we'll see how we go. But we are working on adding more brands to the companion at the moment. We've added, recently Shane's actually swatched all of the Prismacolor. Have you done so far?
Yeah, the Prismacolor's swatched and in there.
Yes.
I'm waiting for some more paper to arrive, and then I'm going to do polychromos and then the Castle Arts Gold.
Yeah, so we'll get the new polychromos added to the current polychromos. So we're going to try and get them as soon as we can. The Prismacolors in the color companion, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, again, the email list is the key to all of this, right? But the color companion website that we're building, if you don't have access, pop a thing in the comments and Shane can, like, I don't know if we have access to do that, maybe. Someone in the comments, one of our members, can let you know the website or something. But the companion is allowing you to match any supply to anything. And the Prismacolor, one thing that I'll point out is a lot of the brands have this problem, but we did find once we actually swatched them ourselves, and Shane's built this entire algorithm to like work out different different ratios and that, which will be added in a future update. So that's not available yet. But the color matching he's done, so much more accurate compared to the swatches that are available everywhere else online. So far, Prismacolor done. More to come. All right, so...
Have you tried a Zig Clean Color brush pen to activate the Inktense?
Oh, I have them, like, right there. It's not often that I have stuff out. See that little... Yes, let's try it. I want to know. Get some different colors just for fun. Some of these darker colors especially, I want to kind of show you just how little you actually need of any of these. Oh, thank you. Just standing there holding the thing. To be able to actually do anything with these. And see, the other thing is if you're using these as normal colored pencils, like these two colors on here look the same. They're very dark and heavy. Let's do a third color just for... So that almost looks like the same color. But let's try adding some water. Very different. It probably helps if I don't mix them together as I'm doing it for you, but all of a sudden you have 3 different blues. And you see just how much that actually spreads out. This one, let's have a look. So much color from like a tiny bit, like it really amplifies the color in the pigment. This for me is like a really cool way to use them, just to doing like little, this is probably what I'll do on the other projects I want to do today, like adding just a little bit of art, but then using this to then create like the gradients and stuff like that. So you're not trying to color the pencils light, you're kind of doing all that work as a paint. So again, this one, look how much bolder that color gets pretty much just instantly, and just how much you can spread out that one bit of color. There's a lot of color on these pencils. And I mean, even though I know I haven't used them that much, but they still seem like completely full pencils, even for what I have used them for. And well, let me see if I can show you here. So the other thing about these, because they dry permanent, if you have normal watercolor and you laid a blue on top of a yellow, it's going to mix the color. This, if I'm correct, should not mix, but actually just sit the blue on top of the yellow. And it's not, well, it's a little bit muddy. Maybe my yellow was not fully dry. Or maybe I just picked the wrong blue. But it is layering. I guess the real trick would be to do a lighter color over a darker color and see if we can do that without it mixing the colors. Let's just for fun, just do that and see. But I did want to check your suggestion of the Zig pens. So the Zig pens are also kind of a watercolor pen. So they are very much like, they don't look like much if you use them just as a pen. And just like the Inktense, if we grab a brush, all of a sudden they become watercolor. So you can do a lot with them as well. So similar concept. The difference with these is that these are more like a traditional watercolor where that color is going to pick up. This color will reactivate if I draw on top of it. Now, I don't know if my blue is actually dry enough for this, but this shouldn't keep reactivating the blue at this point. It is a little bit because I think not all of my blue was activated the first time. So again, this is probably a technique thing, but it's not so much mixing as it's layering, although a little bit here I've pulled out, like this area along the edge might still be, yeah, if I can still activate the original, it's like everything has to touch the water, and then once it's touched the water and dries, then it sort of stops reactivating. So like here, see how that blue, I'm picking up tiny bits of blue, but for the most part, I can't mix it into that blue now. It's actually, you can still see the lines underneath of the blue. That's sort of what I'm referring to. Oh, was that a thank you because we have a new member joining us?
No, it's because we have a super chat.
Oh, wow.
AW1012007. Said, hi Sarah and Shane, Drew here from Canberra. Thank you for showing these pencils. I've had them for a while but wasn't sure how to make them work properly. So
oh,
thank
nice. You. Oh, I'm glad this is helpful. I often wonder if I'm just here wasting your time. Hopefully not. I just wanted to see how long this little pot is going to let me keep getting paint out of this. So far we're doing okay. Again there, see how it's like layered rather than it's not just mixing in, whereas if I do this over here, I should, in theory, be able, it's hard. I've picked sort of not the best colors to really compare. What I probably need to do, maybe I'll do in a second, is get out some actual watercolors and do it a bit more side by side to see how differently they act.
And then we need to do the cross stitch.
And then we need to actually do the thing that I set out to do. All right, well, what I'm gonna do, this by the way is a notepad that Etcher gave me, along with the little thing here. So this is the Etcher watercolor block. The good thing about this is a cold press. The good thing about this is that the sides are like sealed, so I can't actually, like you cut it open when you're done, which means that even though this is warping a little bit, which all watercolor paper does, the sealed edge means that it's a lot easier to then kind of flatten out and keep all the edges flat. And so once it's dry, you'll then cut the page off. So it's the same stuff that usually you'd have on one side, but it's around all four. I have one other sketchbook like this, or one other pad that I have like this, and it's really useful for something like this. It's just not useful. Not as useful for like what I do, where I'm like, okay, let's play, new page, let's play, new page. Doesn't really work for that. But you just need multiple books then. So,
Timberling says, nice drawing.
Yeah, I'll use this as a background from something at some point. For now, it's just really play. If I stop and try and draw something for real, we're gonna run out of time and we're not gonna be able to do much else. I also actually wanted to try quickly, since we're here playing with paper. This is the Stonehenge Aqua, which is their watercolor range. And I haven't actually tried this before. So just out of curiosity, while we're here, I kind of just want to try those same few colors and just see like what this paper's like compared to the other. It's interesting that this pencil in particular, it just looks so gray on here. And I've seen some people coloring in with the Derwent Inktense and they're like, oh, they're a bit underwhelming, they're not great, but it's because they don't wet them. And so all the colors are really bland. But even if you just wet the area you've colored, you actually then get the color, let alone all the watercolor effects that you can do with that. So, and it's really hard to judge paper off just like a little thing like this. Like I probably need to really actually stop and draw something on this to really get a feel for it, but it does feel nice. What I like about proper watercolor, like the cold press stuff for watercolor, is that it seems to be able to hold a lot more moisture, so you can really come and layer and layer and layer. I will, while I've got this paper here, get out. This is Christy Rice has a beautiful collection of watercolor things, and this is my favorite little one that I come back to over and over. So I just want to see comparison. Oh, I should have used the blue and the purple as well. Okay, I just want to show you like watercolor paints versus the pencils here. All right. So this is more your traditional, oh, they're nice and bright, traditional watercolor. So we'll put some of that down. And if you want to build up color, you can very easily just add more color, blend it in, all that kind of stuff. All right. If you do want to learn watercolors, actually, Christy's channel has so many good like beginner watercolor tutorials. So I do recommend. I've got not enough paint for the amount of water that I put down. And this is, I actually think, something where maybe I need to personally just explore watercolor pencils more, because I haven't really. And the thing I like about the Inktense is that I can really choose, like I can put down a lot. Oh, that's on wet. That's different. Oh, I think I just unlocked a new trick for me that I hadn't thought about. All right, let me show you what I've discovered here. Okay, so this half is wet. The wet on wet versus wet on dry thing that even like normal watercolor talks about. So if I now draw, here we have ordinary. Here we have, wow. That's just because the paper's pre-wet. Now that's still very wet, whereas this one's dried a bit more. And so coloring on just the slightly moist paper, you get a lot more color out of that. That's interesting. Huh. New thing I hadn't thought to try. And because of this, you can then just activate anyway, right? Oh, I just can't believe the difference. See that difference? Like if you're not wetting these, you're absolutely missing out. This is the problem with like ADHD brain, right? I forgot that we pulled out the Zig to try the Zig blender. I already forgot that. Let's come back to that. You got to keep reminding me in the comments of the things I said I was about to do and that I've not done, and Shane will pass it on and keep me accountable. The problem here is...
Like the cross stitch.
Like the cross stitch that we... Yeah. We'll get there, I promise. I hope. I can't even find the clear one. Chances are it's like the one that I've like pulled out and lost or something. Because I probably have used it for something else at some point. Ah! Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to answer that question. What I can show you is the difference between that and an alcohol marker, because I should have plenty of colourless alcohol markers right next to me, and there's zero. Hey, wait, there's a big tub of markers right here. Is there a colourless one in there? There it is. Thank you, Ohuhu, for being on my table. Okay, so this is a colourless marker compared to the watercolour. So this is more comparable to that. It does a pretty good job still. It'll still bring out that colour, and it is actually fairly controlled. This is on watercolour paper, so if you did this on normal paper, you probably get more like an alcohol marker result. But also, actually, on this paper, that one does go through and the other doesn't. That's funny. When I've done this in colouring books, the colour doesn't go through to the back. You do need to then clean your marker really well afterwards, though. Watercolour paper and alcohol markers is not generally a good mix because the watercolour paper absorbs so much ink, you'll just dry your markers out. But if you're wanting to use the Inktense in colouring books and you don't think they'll handle the water, it's worth a try with the alcohol marker. I think they don't come out quite as well, but they still come out pretty well. Okay. So what I wanted to show here is like if I now grab, I do need to put a little bit more color down in this to show you this, what I'm wanting to show you. So let's just do some comparable colors here. Just get them activated and moving around. So like at this point, the effect of the watercolor versus the Inktense is pretty similar. Slight differences in texture and approach and stuff, but for the most part, they both do work pretty well. I also just noticed that once the watercolor has had more time to settle into the paper, it actually kind of is a bit nicer, because I think when all the water's still holding in it, it kind of, you don't see the color as clearly. So actually the color's a lot nicer now than it was when I first put it down. What I want to show you though is when we grab a completely different color and see what happens. I kind of want to go with the fluoro yellow just because I love that she's added this fluoro yellow in here. It's really interesting what it does to the other colors. So first of all, if we put it on here, for one, isn't that the best color? I'm not into fluoro. It's actually this particular watercolor set of Christie's that has made me love fluoro. So that actually is still mixing into those colors a bit. Like if you push it, it does have some layers to it, but it is kind of green. It is pulling some of that.
I feel like you never liked fluoro colors, and then now, like with the dopamine coloring, you do. And I feel like maybe she was like the gateway to it.
This set was my gateway to fluoro, and now I'm a little bit hooked on fluoro.
Now you're fully high vis.
No, not fully. It has to be used, but used like this, where it's like added to other colors. It like just bumps the other colors. But it's interesting how here it still feels blended. Now I don't know if this is dry enough for this to work. I want to show the difference. It might need a bit more time to dry, but I still want to try it. I'm too impatient to wait. Let me show you here. So it's still picking up a little bit of the colour on that bit there because I haven't fully changed it. I need the pink because then it will like turn into the red. I don't know if you can tell, like, the difference isn't as obvious as I would have thought, to be honest. Like the normal watercolor is still kind of layering almost as much as the Inktense. This is picking up something from one of them. I've really ruined that beautiful bright pink, haven't I? Add some more in. You know what actually is a big test? Holly, do you have some paper towel or a tissue or something? That would be great. We'll try and lift some of the colour back up and see what happens, because that can also be a really interesting test. See, this set of Christie's makes me actually just want to keep playing the watercolour. I think watercolour is going to be my happy place for a while in my own time. I don't even have any, like, I'm not actually drawing anything in particular, but it's just fun. Oh, so even the sticks, they glide when they hit the water. Thank you. So what I wanted to try is lifting back up some of the watercolor. So this is how this pink bit that I've hit is hit the water pretty hard. So if we dab that, it should be able to lift some back up. Whereas the Inktense shouldn't move, right? Try and hit some more. I want to see if I can lift up the blue underneath. And then we really need to move on. I could play for ages. So that's kind of lifting the pink back, but not the purple, whereas that is lifting the blue a bit with a few more layers. So the Inktense isn't going to come back up in the same way. But I'm actually surprised there's not as much difference as what I thought between that and the other. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Just my curiosity. I like playing with stuff like this and just sort of learning, like, not just what does it mean. I do encourage you, like, if you're scared to use your supplies, like, playing with this, I haven't actually used that much at all. And you're never going to get to use your supplies by just having them sit on the bench waiting for you to learn. So get them and play like this, because it's when you play like this, you start to discover little things like, oh, that's weird when I did that. And like by the end, this isn't necessarily going to be anything, but I could actually take something like this and then do a sketch or something on top, and this becomes like a background for it. Like you could do so much, or use it in like some mixed media or something like that. Like it's not wasted. I never throw out things like this. It's not necessarily art at this point, but it could become, you know? So, all right, let's put that aside. It's time to see how this works on some fabric. Now, how are we doing for time, Shane?
It is 10:40.
My 1 hour live streams are not going great, are they? So, what I'll do, instead of colouring our entire tote bag, I mean, I feel like I could still, like...
Why don't you do the cross stitch?
I just want to do this as a test before I dive into the cross stitch.
Or on the tote bag, you've got the little bag.
The little one. Yeah, no, I just want to go for it. The good thing about watercolor is it spreads quick. All right, I'm not going to color this whole thing. That is not my drink. Don't drink that one.
You know what you could do is empty out all of the sticks into the bag and then just like fill the bag with water and see what happens.
It's a great way to waste everything. All right.
You said there was no such thing as wasting art supply.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go super messy on this one thing and just see what we end up with, right? I'm going to go some fun greens. We're going to go a little messy abstract, just allow ourselves to play. And I'm going to throw in some of this chartreuse lime-ish. It's more of a chartreuse yellow.
It's more of a fresh green.
Don't you start on a fresh green. All right, so that's looking pretty rough and it was very quick and I've just added some color. And let's wash our brush a little bit better. And now let's see what we can do with this, of just playing. And I'm not really intending on staying in the lines. I kind of want to lean into the messy watercolor look a bit here. But just keep it a bit blotchy with the different colors I've added. And then potentially come back later and actually do some more detail. And maybe that's where I'll get out the paint pens and actually do some work with the paint pens. This fabric is absorbing it so much that it's not really spreading.
Caitlin's asked, are the sticks chalky or more like oil pastels?
They're not, well, I'd say about halfway between. They don't feel chalky. I don't like chalky stuff. I wouldn't call them chalky, but I also
just feel like a stick of the inside of a pencil kind of thing.
I'd even say less than that. Like, this water is like beading on top of the thing. So I guess as much as this is a colouring bag, it's maybe not a watercolouring bag. Can you get a side shot of that? Look how much that's beading. That's why I'm struggling to kind of do much with it. Can you see those giant beads? Look, if I drop it's just sitting on top.
Kind of got to push it in.
I have an idea. Well, no, it's not going to work over there. It'll only work here because I've done this. What if we do a bunch of beads? Oh, that's cool. Do you see how that's like literally rolling off? Do you know what I'm going to do? Try. No, that didn't work. I was hoping it would take the colour. Just a little bit. It's staying in its bead. How weird is that? I've made a coloured drop. It's like attaching to the stick and then just letting go and grabbing back onto the... Well, this is fun in a different way. It's not what I was expecting to be doing. Maybe this is one of those things where it would have been better to wet the whole bag first and then do it. But I just want to see. It's so funny how much that's just keeping the... Can I move this one? I can drag it over. I put it in the wrong spot. I'll just move the whole bubble. Whoops, I joined it with the other bubble. Now it's a blend. Yeah, I feel like it definitely would have worked better to just wet the area and then try to do that. Which is, these are the things I need to know because I don't know if this is going to do the same on the cross stitch. So it might be something that like wetting it all first will give me a different result. Because this doesn't look like it's planning on going anywhere. Woo, that was fun, but that was a bit of an underwhelming response. Yeah, so this bag is definitely going to be a bit of a come back and have another go with some paint pens and try to not make it look as terrible as I just have, because right now this looks like a disgusting mess. But if you've ever seen all of my dopamine colouring and other recent stuff, you'll know that they all look like this at the start, so this is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means it has more work to be done. I mean, what is cool is that it's creating this weird patchy look because of the way this fabric is. So I just think I'll lean into that. You've got to work with your medium, you know? And maybe I should have done this in like a more undercoat color, like something to contrast it, and then do the leaves a different color on top. Maybe I can come back with the paint pens and make the leaves like pink or something, and that way it's like a really different thing. But that for me feels like something I need to spend some more time figuring out. So I'm going to do that another day because we do need to come and figure out our cross stitch. So this one, there's a few steps we obviously have to do first, and that is pulling it out and actually counting where we're going to start. It's pretty safe to kind of just start in the middle, but let's just see. I'm going to open this. I've been actually looking forward to starting this cross stitch for a while. It just brings back a lot of memories because I literally haven't done them since I was, I don't know, I wouldn't even say teenager, maybe even primary school. This is old. When is this from? Okay, so this is our grid. And I'm just seeing if there's a date on it. Can't see a date. This is almost the same size, so this is actually a good reference for us. But I think, is this to scale? Like, is this 100% scale? Because the size of those look, oh, it's maybe a little bit smaller. This is our cross stitch paper, fabric, whatever we want to call it. I'm just thinking it can kind of safely almost work off that as a guide if we kind of put it in the middle, but I do think that the actual cross stitch pattern, it's going to end up a bit bigger. There's going to be a few tricky things in here of actually, like, I don't want to sit here and count the whole thing. Does it at least tell me how many squares are in a block? I have to count a little bit. Shane, read us some comments while I count my cross stitch. It is a counted cross stitch, so it's only, it makes sense that I would have to do that. All right, let's have a look.
Right, there's a suggestion that maybe you need to wash the bag first and that it might have a fabric fixative on it when the canvas bag. I don't know if it had instructions with it.
It probably did. Why would you assume that I would? Well, I've already coloured that. Whoops, my bad. Hey, at least we know that's going to absorb the water because it did absorb the water from my brush sitting underneath it. Okay.
How did you start exploring using different art supplies?
Oh, I just kind of, honestly, I have curated my Instagram feed to perfectly give me lots of just different art that different people do. And so over time I'll just watch and I'll be looking at something and be like, man, I wonder how they did that. And often it's something that's like 10 steps beyond anything I could do. But I'm like, well, what are they using? And if it's like watercolor, I'll be like, okay, so like, I don't know, what's some watercolor paint? And I don't have all the answers straight away. But if you actually go back on this channel, you'll see the first time I properly tried watercolor, it was a video called 4 Artists Teaching Me to Paint or something like that. And I actually followed some advice from Christy Rice. Again, I suggested her as someone to check in with. I actually got on a call with her and got on a call with Scott Christian Sava, who's also here on YouTube. And each of them talked me through their advice and what they would suggest for a kit and stuff. And instead of just buying cheap stuff, I actually just went and bought a nice kit. But I bought a small one. It's the Winsor & Newton one that I have, and then Christy's given me hers as well. And that was where I started from. Like, if I was doing this for pencils, I would say go buy something like the Prismacolor, but you don't have to buy the 100 set. Like, go buy yourself a 40 set or a 70 set and then start with there. So it's like, don't not buy nice supplies, but don't buy the biggest set of everything. Because especially too, if you're like me, you don't know if you're actually going to like keep doing that thing. Yeah. Shane is keeping the camera on my cross stitch to try and tell me to do the cross stitch. I was like, I paused there because I was like, why has he not got the camera on me? And he's looking at me like, he's keeping me on task. Okay, so if you can ask...
The questions were supposed to be like...
Talk while I'm trying to count. I've counted 10. Each block is 10. And these are my blocks. So you could ask and answer the questions while I count.
All right, what have we got? Are you going to finish the Ohuhu products as is very informative about their product line?
You can answer that, yes.
Keep doing it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Get back to work.
How do I count 10 on this though?
So we were going to do another live stream, which we still are, but I think there's a few more things on their way here that Sarah wanted to arrive first.
Yes.
So we are going to do another live stream on Ohu. We're just waiting on the last things.
Yeah. So this is, I'm going to just use the center of this as the center of this, which is like this point here. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down is kind of my limit, which is 60. But if I just kind of guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's kind of about there, I think. Which is not that different to this.
Is it worth trying the Inktense on like the very corner of the...
No, I think actually, I think I can
it.
kind of wing it based off just the size of the actual thing. So maybe I can just kind of, if I can just kind of plot out my edges, and it would actually be smart to like try and like use this in the light and trace it, which actually I've got these wonderful lights in the studio, but then you can't see me what I'm doing. But if I can kind of just like visually give myself a limit top on the bottom. I probably should do this with anyway. And there's kind of the bottom of that one. And then my side limits are kind of on, it's almost just within this like fold. The other thing is I wonder if I should probably have ironed this before this step. Am I gonna really regret not ironing this first? Oh well, we told you we're doing it in the live stream, so bad luck. Look, I guess we're gonna find out later if Derwent Inktense can be ironed, because that's what's happening. All right, what's that? Oh, no, I'm making it up, it's fine. What I do want to do is get some colors that will complement this well. I'm kind of thinking of just using the colors in this, but maybe, and I'll keep it fairly light because then the risk is a bit lower, but maybe we can kind of pull this purple out here and put a bit of purple behind here. I don't want to do too much green, there's enough green. So I'm thinking the pink, the purple, and maybe, oh, I'm wondering if I can even push some yellow in, or I'm trying to work out what color kind of goes with what's already here. It would have helped me to look through my color cube, but I think we probably don't have time for that at this point. So I'm gonna just see, where's my little swatch decks here? I'm thinking, let's do a bit of this one. And I just want to see what that actually looks like. Let's not spill this all over the thread. It's definitely not clean, that's all right. That's probably a bit red for what we're doing. Let's see if I can go a bit more pink. This one's a pretty full-on pink. I need fresh water, hang on. I've got another water right here. Here's one we prepared earlier. Okay, you can also with these just grab it off here and do it like this. Maybe that would be a better way to tackle this. I don't know, I'm kind of an all-in kind of person. I sort of like, this isn't quite the right pink either. What was this pink? That's, I don't remember. It's probably this one that's like upside down in my set. It actually, this might even dry like that. That's 700. And of course, you know what I did? I used the one side I said I wasn't going to use, so now I can't see the number on that anymore. You get to see all the, now I've just made it worse. I've totally erased that number just by trying to wipe the water off with my finger. This is what crafting with Sarah is like. That actually, I think, is the color I was looking for. I think it is. Is this the same? Yeah, okay. It's the color that I erased the number from. All right, so we're gonna use this, and then I'm even wondering, what if we pulled in something like this in the background? Or is that gonna, actually no, the background for distance, I reckon needs to be more like a bluey purple. So let's pull out something that's a bit more like this violety color. I wonder if this one, let's not do it on that same edge. We pull a bit of here. I grabbed the swatch decks and then I didn't even actually swatch it. I'm just kind of making a mess. If I do this one light enough, then that's a good matching color. So I guess that's a starting point, those two, and maybe a blue, but like a blue with a bit of purple in it. This blue actually will even, oh, look at the purple that makes. That's nice. Maybe I don't even need the purple. We just make a purple. Let's put the purple back. All right, we're doing just pink and blue. Let's see how we go. Oh, if I mess this up, I mean, I could probably just buy another sheet, let's be honest. It's not the end of the world. But I do think to make this better, I probably need to wet this first. The only catch here is that you're not actually going to see how this turns out until I have a chance to like stop and do the cross stitch, which is definitely not happening in the next 15 minutes. So I will at some point post an update and let you know how it went. Now, I don't know if I need something under this or it's going to wreck my table, or we just embrace it.
While you're doing that, there's a question as to whether or not you did the wall behind you yourself.
Yes. There's 2 videos on our channel of that because it was a long process.
Very, very early on, using the Cricut machine
Yes.
to make giant stickers and attaching them to the wall. So they're not drawn on, they're like a vinyl sticker. Which one day Sarah might colour in. No.
They're vinyl stickers so they can be removed, so we can not have to repaint the whole wall when we move to a new studio. You know what would have been smart here? A spray bottle. That would have been a quicker way to do this. You have a spray bottle, don't you?
Yeah, I'll go and get it.
All right. That's probably a good way to get the rest of this quickly wet. And it might actually create a nice effect when we add the colour. If I can kind of quickly moisten it with the spray. It'll be interesting to see how that spreads. I think that could be fun. This is definitely needing something under it though. The problem is anything I put under it, it's going to pick up. Well, this came with it. Let's just use that. It's just paper, but... That purple there is already way heavier than I was intending on doing. There we go, that's better. Fun. Okay, so we've got our 2 colours, and what I'm thinking is just, it's probably better for me to go light and actually not colour straight on it. I do want this to be fairly light. It's supposed to be like a background supporting the art, not like it's, oh, look at that! New hack! Flick! Ho ho! I'm sorry, but that is fun. That works really well. Just flicking off the end of the pigment. Oh, that's cool. And for the wet areas, it's kind of fading out, but then some of it is thick enough that it's just sitting on top. All right, well, that made me very happy. Now I can kind of do some other splotches with the wet version of this from that. This might be the worst way to like add to the the cross stitch, but I have to try. You know I have to try. Oh, I don't like how much it's pulling on that the seam that I should have ironed out. I don't want it to be like all on the seam. Yeah, go away. That's better. That's kind of creating cool effects. I wonder if I can control it a bit more.
While you're doing that,
yes,
we have a question as to when the new 2027 plan is coming out.
Oh, Shane, you can deal with that
one. So we've actually decided not to do the dated planners anymore. The reason why is they take a lot of work to put together, and unfortunately they just weren't selling enough of them for us to be able to print them. I think Sarah would usually spend about 2 or 3 months working on it, and so they were a lot of work and they just weren't viable. But we do have the undated planners, which you can still get, which are the same sort of planner just without the dates in them. And we also still have some 2026 planners available, so they're still there, but no 2027, just the undated ones.
Yeah, I would have loved to keep doing them, but we do have to make sure that we're spending our time on stuff that actually people want. I know the people that used them loved them, but it just, yeah, we actually the last few years ended up making a loss on them. So we're basically spending like 3 months of my time, and then it costs us money. So I would rather put that time into like doing things like more live streams and all this kind of fun stuff. So
How long have you been live streaming for?
oh, like today or like over like for
I don't know. We'll just go in general.
I don't know.
Did it first live stream like ages ago on Facebook?
Yeah. Oh, that was before I
There's
even had a
some early
YouTube channel.
ones.
That's a whole nother thing. I'm enjoying this. This is actually really fun on the fabric. It's like it's quite different to what it does on the paper, where like the patchiness of it I'm kind of leaning into and trying to just sort of make it work. And I actually, this is working for me. I don't really know where my actual boundaries are. So it'll be very interesting to see how what I've done lines up with what we put on top later. I'm kind of trying to go, okay, look, this will somewhat be behind him, but it might also end up here in the gap. I don't know. So I'm trying to sort of play it somewhat safe with the big areas of just like not totally committing to a spot that I need to be behind something. But I don't know, for the most part, I think I like this spottiness and the randomness of it all. I'm wondering if I should bring in another color. I do think I need to, some of these weird lines, I either need to spread them out more or add more somehow, if that makes sense. Which might even just work with spraying them down a bit more, actually. Just to kind of let it blend into nothing a bit better at the edges. Because it's got the cross accidentally, it reminds me of those like where you fold and you make a butterfly out of like paint. That's not what I was going for. I'm trying to lighten this. I just don't want the clear line. It might be a little bit unavoidable. And I mean, the cross stitch will cover some of the line as well, but yeah, I still don't want it to be like, oh, there's like a clear crosshair in the middle. While it's still wet, it's easy to kind of work with. Once it dries, I shouldn't be able to do this anymore.
Way out whimsy, and I think this is what you said before. Right now, it reminds me of one of those raw Satch ink blots.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of, yeah. That one's not flicking like the other one was. I lost my technique. The blue did it really well. Maybe I don't have enough water.
Artful Fuji, one of our members, says, hello, long-time listener, first-time caller, show reference, but first live, happy to finally get to say hello.
Oh, hi. All right, I think, do we think I should add a touch of like a green to really sort of pull in all the colors of the art? That's, I guess, my last question here.
Claire, who's another member, said, I'm a relatively new member. So glad you all test and share so many products. I've been able to buy good quality supplies based on your evaluations. Thank you.
I'm glad. Right, am I doing some green? What do we think? Just a tiny bit, maybe?
I worry that green would have the potential to merge with the leaves.
Something in just tiny, tiny bits, like that.
Like a really light green?
Well, this is like a chartreuse. So it's like the lightest parts of the leaves, not like the heavy colour. That's what I'm thinking.
Jordan says teal or aqua?
Ooh. I'm trying to be careful not to introduce, like this is not even really a green, it's more of almost a yellow, but I'm trying to pull out these like really small colors in here. Now, to give you a bit of insight into what's going to be happening shortly, so I'm going to be finishing up here soon and taking a little break for myself and Shane to grab some lunch because it is kind of that time of day here. And then we're going to be coming back and doing a members only live stream. Now, today's members only live stream is actually a bit of an early look at something that we're going to be looking at in more depth in a future main video on my channel. And that is, we're actually going to unbox and have a look at the new Crayola alcohol markers. So they have sent me the 120 set, which I don't believe is on Amazon yet. You can get like a 40 set, but I want to compare them and give like a really honest perspective on my first impression of them, looking at the color range, looking at how they compare to like similar brands, and just see if we think they actually kind of got the brief right on this, I guess. So I want to do that with everyone, and I want to do that in our live stream with the members. For those of you that aren't members, don't worry, you will see a version of it soon when we put together, probably looking at next month though, our main video where I am going to talk about all the stuff that like I spoke with Crayola about in the past and the feedback that we gave them in my last video, and see if they sort of, I guess, listened and see how that works. So this is kind of an early thing for the members to be able to jump in on, and we will be doing it for everyone else in the future. But I think I'm kind of close to done. I'm thinking maybe I might just try and create a bit more white space back in the middle if this lets me while it's still wet. Partly because I'm really worried about this cross just standing out, and partly because I think it's just good to have that little bit of variety. I wonder if I can even, while it's still wet, remove some of this with a cloth. Although I do need to be careful not to wreck the cloth underneath as well. This might solve my ironing actually, just by wetting it. It's kind of flattening it anyway. I think for the most part I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. For an underpainting, it's hard to tell while it's still so wet as well, but I think once it's dry, it'll be interesting to see how it looks. Oop. Definitely glad I didn't do that directly on the table by the end. I don't know. I think we might stop there. I think it's probably even more than I was intending to do in the background. I don't like how this is kept spreading. I kind of want to get rid of that, but I don't want to get rid of the spray. So I think I'm gonna just stop, because I think it might be one of those things where the more I play with it now, the worse it gets. So I probably need to stop. But I do think it'll be interesting to see what this looks like under the cross stitch. Hopefully it doesn't just look horrible, but I mean, you got to experiment, right? Where's the fun in art without making a mess and occasionally making a disaster? It's you know, it's part of the game. It's part of the fun, because now this doesn't tell me what my cross stitch is going to look like. It's going to look like something totally unexpected, and I won't know until it's done. And that's kind of fun. So yes, we're going to leave that. I might put it somewhere else to dry, because this has quite a bit of color on it now too. This definitely looks like one of those, it's because the folds have made it look like that a bit more than I wanted. But yeah, we'll see what happens when it dries. Maybe I should have just held it up and let some stuff drip. That could have looked cool, but that's all right. There's a chance to redo anything at any point, and I'm trying to work out where I'm going to put this. But with that, Shane, is there any final thoughts from anyone before we sort of finish up and take our break before we head into the members stream?
There was a lot of people who are suggesting that you do the Sarah Renee Clark teal, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't know if that will work on this picture, because there's already a few other colours already happening. It's tempting.
We'll need to make sure we finish it.
What?
Need to make sure we finish the cross stitch so everyone can see
yes.
the results.
Yes, definitely. So I don't know. I don't know if I like it, I'll be honest. I think maybe I probably should have left a bit more white space, but we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see it once it's done. And maybe if anyone else decides to underpaint a cross stitch, you can let me know how you go. Someone's probably done it before. I doubt I'm the first person to do this. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was fun. I hope you had a chance to sort of see how the Inktense work if you weren't sure. And for our members, we will be back soon to have a look at the Crayola alcohol markers.